at 6:30 p.m. This is a virtual WebEx meeting, and some members of staff and other members of that are on the agenda are at the Village Hall boardroom. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with Wisconsin statute sections 19.83 and 19.84 in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for discussion and action. Difficult to see if everybody's here, so could we do that was awesome.
Somebody's not happy.
So, David Baum, you're here.
I'm here.
I saw Mr. Williams. I saw Mr. Shadid. I saw Mr. Nillis. I saw Mr. Leszewski. And did I see Mr. Kimmler?
I did it.
And that should take care of all of us, and we're all present. Next item on the agenda is public input and public appearance on any items that are not subject to a public hearing. There is 2 public hearings on tonight's agenda, but if there's anyone either on the WebEx or within the Village Hall that would like to come forward for public input, you're welcome to do so at this time. Is there anyone wishing to come forward? I'm going to assume not. So then we'll go to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes for the May 11th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Move approval. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the minutes from the May 11th, 2020 Plan Commission meeting? No discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? None opposed? That then takes us as approval of the minutes, so that then takes us to new business. We'll start with the new business item A, James and Maureen Dragage, property owners of West 172, North 13186 Division Road, and North 132, West 17073 Rockfield Road. Dragage Auto Sales and Service Land Use Plan Map Amendment from the Agricultural Conservation Residential to Commercial Rezoning from A2 Agricultural to B through General Business District and RS1 Single Family Residential Conditional Use Permit Amendment for Conditional Use Permit number 1-76 for an expansion of the auto sale operation and 2-lot certified survey map. Tonight's agenda, we have a public hearing and action by Plan Commission members. As in some more information and background on our first item of new business with public hearing, I assume that we're going to be turning the meeting over to our Associate Planner, Emily Zant. Jeff taking it.
Okay, can you hear me all right? Okay, James Dragage, a property owner agent for Dragage Auto Sales and Service, is seeking approval of a 2-lot certified survey map. Let's see here. There we go. The subject property is located south of Rockfield Road and east of Division Road. The site zoning is A2 agricultural for the residential parcel and B3 general business for the commercial parcel. There's agriculture and residential to the north, industrial use to the south, agriculture to the east, and then residential and commercial to the west. Mr. Dragage has submitted an application for a certified survey map to modify the lot lines between the 2 properties shown on the screen, to enlarge the commercial property, to include the existing shed that's located on the property here. So this request also requires a land use plan map amendment to change the area being added to the commercial property from agricultural conservation residential to commercial, as well as a rezoning of a portion of the property from A2 agricultural district to the B3 general business district and the RS1 single-family residential district. The applicant has also submitted an amendment to CUP number 176 to allow the continued operation of the auto sales and body shop operation, dragage auto sales and service, and the expansion of the area covered under CUP to be consistent with the boundaries of proposed Lot 1. So on the left side of your screen, you can see the existing configuration. The commercial property is highlighted in red, and the residential is highlighted in blue. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, you see the proposed configuration with the expansion of Lot 1 to include the shed, and then the Lot 2 would be the remainder of that. Lot 1 contains .89 acres currently, and it will be expanded to contain 1.7 acres in order to include the shed. Lot 2 will contain 7.09 acres and the existing single-family dwelling. There are no improvements proposed at this time. So as a result of the property line modification, the portion of land being added to the commercial lot, which is proposed Lot 1, needs to be reclassified from agricultural conservation residential to commercial on the future land use map. This amendment, again, is just in order to be consistent with the enlarged parcel lot lines. Same thing with the rezoning, expanding the existing B3 general business district to be consistent with those lot lines. And then also rezoning Lot 2 to the RS1 single-family residential district in order to bring this lot into conformance with the minimum lot size. With the request to expand the area zoned B3 general commercial, an amendment to conditional use permit 0176 is required to also expand the area covered by the conditional use permit to include all of Lot 1. The applicant has indicated that the operation of dragage auto will continue as it has for the last 44 years, and there's no proposed expansion of the use or business or hours of operation at this time. The village surveyor had a few technical items that need to be corrected, and that will need to be done prior to recording the CSM. Aerial imagery does show numerous vehicles, likely inoperable, being stored on both existing lots. There also appears to be some scrap and junk stored on proposed Lot 1. This is in violation of Section 10.06 of the Village Code, which limits businesses engaged with automotive sales or repair to keeping inoperable vehicles on private property for no more than 30 days. Planning staff does recommend adding a condition requiring compliance with this section of the code. So with that, it is staff's recommendation to approve the two-lot certified survey map to reconfigure the property with two conditions. And we can go over those if you'd like. But staff is also recommending to approve the land use plan amendment from commercial to from commercial and agricultural conservation residential to commercial as proposed. Approve the rezoning of Lot 1 from B3 general business and A2 agricultural to B3 general business, and propose Lot 2 from A2 agricultural to RS1 single-family residential as proposed, and approve the conditional use permit amendment for the operation of the existing auto sales and body shop located on Division Road to include all of proposed Lot 1, subject to all conditions of CUP 0176 and the addition of two conditions. And Mr. Dragage? Mr. Dragage is on the call with us tonight, if anyone has any questions for him.
Okay. Well, we'll start by opening the public hearing. The notice is hereby given. The public hearing will be held before the Village of Germantown Plan Commission at the Germantown Village Hall located on Mequon Road in Germantown on Monday, 8th at 6:30 p.m. or later. The purpose of said hearing is to hear any and all parties, their attorneys or agents for or against the application within number 1, a 2020 land use plan map amendment to change the classification from agricultural conservation residential to commercial. Number 2, an application for rezoning a portion of the following described property from the A2 agricultural zoning district to the B3 general business district pursuant to section 17.30 of the village zoning code. And number 3, an amendment to the conditional use permit number 1-76 to allow the operation and expansion of an auto sales and body shop operation to section 17.30 subsection 3 subparagraph H of the zoning code. The applicant is James P. and Maureen K. Dragage. The property owners, and the property is located at North 132-17073 Rockfield Road and at West 172 North 13186 Division Road. Is there anyone that is either on the WebEx or at the Village Hall boardroom that would like to come forward to speak for or against the land use plan amendment, the application for rezoning, or the amendment to the conditional use permit? Anyone wishing to come forward to speak for or against? Is there anyone to come forward to speak for or against the land use plan amendment, the application for rezoning, or the amendment to the conditional use permit as stated? Anyone wishing to come forward to speak for or against? There is no one coming forward to speak for or against. Then I will close this public hearing. That concludes the public hearing on new business item A. So now it's to the Plan Commission members to open it for motion, discussion, questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed 2-lot certified survey map with the 2 conditions as presented.
Made and seconded to approve the certified 2 lots and proposed with 2 conditions. Any discussion on that motion to approve? No discussion? Then all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Is there anyone against? Is there anyone against? One. The motion passes. Next motion.
Make a motion to approve the 2020 land use plan amendment to change the proposed lot 1 from commercial and agricultural to commercial as proposed.
Second.
This was for the rezoning. Trustee Paul? For the land use plan amendment. Trustee? What was your motion for, the rezoning or the land use plan amendment?
It was for the land use plan map amendment.
Okay, and you have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion to approve the land use plan amendment from agricultural conservation residential to commercial? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? None opposed? Motion carries. Next motion.
Make a motion to approve the rezoning of the proposed lot 1 from B3 general business and proposed lot 2 from agricultural as presented.
Motion made and seconded to approve the rezoning from A2 agricultural to B3 general business district and the single-family residential and RS1 single-family residential. Any discussion on that motion to approve? Questions? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Opposed, motion carries. Next motion.
Make a motion to approve the conditional use permit amendment for the operation of the existing auto sales and body shop with the 2 conditions as presented.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on that motion to approve? No discussion? All those in favor, please.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries it. All items under new business item A. And that will go to new business item B, MSI General Corp., agent for Redstone Land Holdings LLC, property owner of Hampel Corporation, located at West 194 North 11551, McCormick Drive, a conditional use permit for a 52-foot high storage silos and site plan review for site improvements. This is for public hearing and action. To give us some more background and information on this new business item, I'll turn the meeting over to our Community Development Director, Jeff Russell. Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Hampel Corporation, located on McCormick Drive, is proposing a storage silo facility on their site. The facility itself is located in the northeast corner of the building, as shown here. The site plan that requires approval is for the accessory silo storage facility that would be comprised of a total of 4 12-foot diameter by 52-foot high painted storage silos, painted to match the existing building, on top of a 32 by 32-foot concrete pad with a temporary gravel tracking path installed for construction purposes to the north, leading from an existing driveway on the site. There's piping to fill the silos located south of the silos that would be mounted to some H-racking approximately 3 feet off the ground, leading to the paved docking area that would be the location for filling the silos, and piping leading from the top of the silos directly into the east side of the building for purposes of dispensing the plastic pellets for the manufacturing process.
You might need to start again,
Why?
because Michelle had to unmute.
Okay.
Sorry.
Apparently, we had a small, minor technical audio issue, and I need to restart. So, the MSI General Agent for the Hampel Corporation is seeking approval of a conditional use permit and also a site plan approval for up to 4 storage silos, 12-foot in diameter by 52 feet high, on their facility on McCormick Drive in the Germantown Industrial Park. The proposed location is in the northeast corner of the building, as shown on the screen. A couple of portions of the site plan left showing the proposed tracking pad and silo area, and on the right, a grading plan adjacent to the building and around the site. The 2 items that require approval are a site plan and a conditional use permit. The site plan shows the 4 accessory silo storage features, up to 4 12-foot diameter by 52-foot high painted storage silos. 2 will be installed initially, with 2 reserved for future installation. The silos will be mounted on a 32 by 32-foot concrete pad with a temporary gravel tracking pad used for construction purposes. And there'll be piping, both fill piping mounted on the H-racking system on the south side of the silos leading to the existing docking area, which would be the point of filling the silos, and piping leading from the silos, the top of the silos, mounted directly into the east side of the existing building. Here's an elevation drawing of the rendering of the proposed silos from the east. But you have to understand, if you've been to the site or familiar with the site, you can see the silo location. It's heavily wooded. It's an area out in front between McCormick and the building. The intention is to remove as few as trees as possible, install the silos with a temporary gravel tracking pad, and then install grass, but to do it in a manner that allows the silos to be as secluded as possible. The conditional use permit is required because of the height. In the M1 Limited Industrial Zoning District, the maximum height for buildings and accessory structures by right is 45 feet. Structures taller than 45 feet may be permitted with a conditional use permit. In this case, the silos themselves, I believe, are 48 feet in height with additional 4 to 5 feet of guardrail as shown in the site plan. Staff's concerns, as indicated in the staff report, amounted to potential noise impacts. At the time, as part of the original application, we didn't have detailed information about the filling procedures. Staff was concerned about potential noise and recommended sort of a monitoring program, if you will, for a year to keep track of any complaints we might receive concerning potential noise, and if it is an issue, come back and revisit the CUP and look into any potential mitigation measures that may be required. In today's addendum that was distributed to the Plan Commission members by email, as part of a small package of responses to questions that were raised by a nearby resident, Hampel Corporation indicates that filling activities will be conducted only during normal business hours, which I would assume would be a first shift, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. time frame, which we'd like some clarification on. And then during filling, which would likely be approximately 2 times a week for 2 to 3 hours per time, it's expected that the noise level would be less than 90 decibels during the course of that filling activity. Because of the relative location, Hampel pointed out that any noise from the filling activities would likely be mitigated by the building, the wooded area on the east side of the building, from the nearest residential area, which is over on the west side of the building. The other concern staff had was with appearance. It was indicated that the silos would be painted to match the existing building. Staff is recommending that both the H-racking and the piping be painted in a manner similar or matching the building, as well as the silos themselves. The Public Works and Village Engineer had some minor concerns raised in an April 20th memo concerning a grading and erosion control plan. Those plans have been submitted and are being reviewed. We're just awaiting final approval from the Village Engineer. So with that, the staff recommendation is to approve the conditional use permit and the site plans for the silo storage facility for the Hampel Corporation on McCormick Drive, subject to 7 conditions that I can read through that are in the staff report if necessary. This does require a public hearing, and I would point out, Dean, that we did receive, and I believe you have, a list of questions that were submitted by a resident, answers to which have been provided by Hampel Corporation already and distributed to the staff, to the Plan Commission, and to the resident. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we'll open this public hearing. Stating that a public hearing will be held before the Village of Germantown Plan Commission at the Germantown Village Hall located on Mequon Road, Georgetown, on Monday, June 8th at 6:30 p.m. or later. The purpose of said hearing is to hear any and all parties, their attorneys or agents, for or against a conditional use permit application to allow the installation of up to 4 52-foot high storage silos, accessory structure greater than 45 feet high, on the property described below pursuant to section 17.33 subsection 3 subparagraph I of the Village Zoning Code. The applicant is Eric Newman, MSI General Corp., agent for Redstone Land Holding, LLC, property owner, and the Hampel Corporation, and the property is located at West 194 North 11551 Drive. Is there anyone that is either on the web installation or at Village Hall that would like to speak for, against the conditional use permit to allow the conditional use permit application to allow the installation of up to 4 52-foot high storage silos on this property? Anyone wishing to come forward to speak for or against? We did receive one email that Director Retzloff made a mention of. We did get it from a Megan Foley, and her email said, "Hello, I had the following questions and hope to hear them addressed at a meeting tonight. Number one, is Hampel required to report to the TR toxic release inventory program? Does your operations admit any chemicals? Do your operations generate airborne explosion hazards, especially within the addition of the plastic pellets? How many pounds of chemicals are used in Hampel's operations each year? According to the materials used by Hampel on their website, several of these are endocrine disruptors, eye respiratory irritants, and carcinogenic. How can they ensure the safety of air and water around their facility? Considering their proximity to residential homes, should there be testing done for the health of residents, including the water and air quality? Will the silos add any further noise from your operations? Do you work with BPAs, BPS, phthalates, or PVC materials? What temperatures are used for your thermoforming process for each of these materials? Tests have shown that plastics begin to decompose and release toxins in temperature as low as 309 degrees Fahrenheit. Do we have cleanup plans for loss of plastic pellets? Although they are proposing incorporating plastic pellets into their operation, which are considered a major global pollutant, they do not have any information regarding environmental responsibilities on their website. Does the village have any regulations or permits to help keep them environmentally hazardous companies from excessive polluting? Thank you for your time, and please let me know if you have any other questions. Sincerely, Megan Foley. That was an email we received in regards to this public hearing tonight. Is there anyone else that wishes to come forward to speak for or against the conditional use permit application for 4 52-foot high storage silos on this site on McCormick Drive? Anyone wishing to come forward to speak for or against? There is no one else. We will then close this public hearing for tonight, and we'll turn it over to the plan commissioners for action. Commissioners.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit and site development plans for proposed silo storage facility for the Hampel Corporation with the sentence as presented.
Second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion to approve?
Questions?
Trustee
Director Retzloff, we have information related to Ms. Foley's.
Yes, we did. We received responses. We forwarded the questions that Ms. Foley had presented to the Hampel Corporation, and I think within an hour they had provided responses to the questions. Now, a copy was emailed out to all the Plan Commission members this afternoon. I don't know if everybody had an opportunity to look at those.
There's no sound. Sorry. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Megan's wanting to talk. So, apparently you can't hear me. Is that correct? Can you hear me now? Okay, we did receive responses to the questions that were asked. I don't know if the Plan Commission members had an opportunity to review those. If not, we can read through the responses. What would the Planning Commission like us to do?
Please read through, because I never got the answers to the response.
Okay. Can everybody hear me now? Because I seem to be going in and out. Thumbs up? All right. First question, is Hampel required to report to the TRI or the Toxic Release Inventory Program? The answer, no. We have reviewed the TRI program list of 767 chemicals and 33 chemical categories. We do not currently use or possess any compound on that list. Referencing Table 2, EPCRA Section 313 Chemical List for RY 2019. Nor have we ever used, possessed, or processed any compound listed. The pellets in question are of one homopolymer, HMWPE, or high molecular weight polyethylene. Question 2, do your operations emit any chemicals? Do your operations generate airborne dusts that may be present or present explosion hazards, especially with the addition of plastic pellets? The answer, we do not emit chemicals or explosive hazardous dust in our current processes. Expansion of our processes to include plastic sheet extrusion using the plastic pellets will not change this condition. The pellet size we will be using is about the size of a pea, and at no time in our process do we generate significant amounts of dust. These are not the very small, microscopic plastic pellets that have in recent years caused environmental concerns as waterborne contaminants. Question 3, how many pounds of chemicals are used in Hampel's operations each year? We do not process any raw liquid, powdered, or gaseous chemicals. We currently process, heat, and form flat, extruded plastic sheets ranging in size from 12 inches square up to 7 feet by 11 feet at nominal thicknesses ranging from 0.09 to 0.45 inches. We currently process approximately 18 million pounds of plastic sheet per year. We are adding sheet extrusion to our process capabilities to remain market competitive. Instead of buying HMWPE sheets for thermoforming, we will be extruding it ourselves. The primary raw material for sheet extrusion is the pea-sized plastic pellets in question. Question 4. According to the materials used by Hampel on their website, several of these are endocrine disruptors, eye/respiratory irritants, and carcinogenic. How can they ensure the safety of air and water around their facility? Answer, in 2019, approximately 95.2% of the material we processed was HMWPE. We do process a limited amount of ABS or acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. I apologize if I mispronounce those. Or for air quality concerns at any time, and polycarbonate PC have for 30 years. To our knowledge, we have had no environmental or air quality concerns at any time with any of the materials processed. Our processing temperatures are well below the manufacturer's stated decomposition temperatures as published on their related material safety data sheets. Substantially all of our materials and scrap are recycled with our current sheet extruders. We will only be using HMWPE pellets to extrude sheet. We will not be extruding or using the pellet form for any other material. Next question, considering their proximity to residential homes, should there be testing done for the health of the residents, including the water and air quality? Will the silos add any further noise from your operations? Answer, very limited and limited to normal business hours only when trucks are loading the silos a couple of times a week for a few hours at a time. Noise is below 90 decibels. The main driver for locating the silos on the east side of the building is to isolate the west residential area from any potential added noise. The noise impact to the west of our facility will be minimal, if noticeable at all. Next question, do you work with BPA, BPS, Pellets, or PVC material? The answer, no. What temperatures are used in your thermoforming process for each of the materials? Answer, 300 degrees Fahrenheit to 350 degrees Fahrenheit in the thermoforming process regardless of material. Next question, tests have shown that plastics begin to decompose and release toxins in temperatures as low as 390 degrees. Answer, the extrusion processing temperature is likely to range from 425 to 450. The safety data sheet for the HMWPE pellets that we will be extruding to flat plastic sheet states a composition temperature of greater than 300 or 572 degrees Fahrenheit. Our upper processing temperature limit for the extrusion is well below the stated upper limit. Next question, do you have cleanup plans for loss of plastic pellets? The answer, external pellet spillage is limited only to the truck unload station on the east side of the plant. There will be a containment section that can be easily vacuumed out to mitigate the impact of any spill. The last question, although they are proposing incorporating plastic pellets into their operations, which are considered a major global pollutant, they do not have any information regarding environmental responsibility on their website. Does the Village of Germantown have any regulations or permits to help keep environmentally hazardous companies from excessive polluting? Our manufacturing processes are focused on the complete reuse of our materials and scrap whenever possible. Substantially all of the plastic not incorporated into a saleable part is reclaimed and reprocessed, currently by our extrusion partners. Currently, our scrap gets coarse ground, similar to rock salt, and returned to our extrusion supplies and put into the new sheet. Please see the attached from our website that describes our process. Hampel has a long history of reclaiming this scrap material and returning it to our suppliers for subsequent use. The extrusion process will allow us to process our own regrind in-house and in a safe and efficient manner. Even waste material that falls on the floor is recycled and used in products like plastic lumber. It is Hampel's best interest to be good stewards of the environment. Thank you for your time. Please let us know if you have questions. Megan Foley. So those are the written responses that we received. I know we have Eric Newman with MSI on the line, and I believe Paul Lorge, the president of the Hampel Corporation, is also available for questions, or if those gentlemen have any statements they'd like to make, please raise your hand or let us know so we can bring you up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Currently, we have a motion on the floor to approve the conditional use permit for the 452-foot high storage silos. Is further discussion, or Trustee Long, you still have the floor if you so desire.
Ms. Holland, did your questions get answered to your satisfaction?
Yes, I just wanted to say I appreciate the time they took to answer the questions. And I'll write a follow-up email, but I would just encourage the be on the forefront of environmental responsibility during their business. And from my research, several of the chemicals, and I'm not a chemist, so I don't know, but did seem somewhat dangerous, but like they answered, they start emitting fumes at a certain temperature, so it sounds like they're their operations are within the limits, so that is reassuring. My only concern was, is there any testing being done to ensure that they're not emitting fumes and polluting haphazardly? It sounds like they have good cleanup in place, so I was sure to hear that.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Further discussion?
I've got one question.
Leshewski.
I got the PD, page 58. Like, maybe you said this already, and stuff, it's hard to tell here. There's a hatchet kind of hand-drawn black line as a shape. Is that where the trees will be removed and the trees, other than that, will be preserved? So all the trees in that block will be removed, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Jeff, I did have a question related to code. So Jeff, in the conditional use permit code, M1 limited industrial, it indicates principal buildings exceeding a height of 45 feet can be approved, provided that, there's three conditions. One of them is that it's the actual initial or principal building, which in this case it sounds like it's an accessory area. And then the second thing is it says new expanded building is not on a property that is adjacent to a residential building district or other residential area. It seems to me it really is adjacent to a residential area. So, my question is, are the conditions of the conditional use permit under M1 limited industrial met based on the proposed accessory 52 feet silos?
Bob, I believe there are two provisions, one that allows for accessory silos. I think it specifically says silos over 45 feet with a conditional use. And then there's another provision that deals with buildings. Both were, I believe, adopted around the same time, where the provision dealing with taller buildings requires a little bit more scrutiny, particularly with regard to setback from adjacent non-industrial uses, like you described. For the silos, you pretty much have, in the past, for example, with Gale Foods and taller silos, we've conducted our review and been concerned with things like we've described this evening, environmental issues, appearance, noise, and I would have to say in this case, given where they're putting the silos, the height being I believe it's about 18 or 19 feet above the height of the existing building, and to be installed within significantly wooded with mature tree area, that the issues of appearance are pretty much mitigated, and the environmental issues we kind of talked about already. I don't know that there's anything else that staff is concerned about that would go into our analysis at this point. So I guess I'd be curious to know what, if anything, the Plan Commission members feel about it at this point.
Yeah, I was just concerned with the language that it's not, it's the residential zoning district or other established residential area. It seems to me that it is exactly adjacent to a residential area, so that was the reason for my question.
Well, I agree, there is the residential area. In fact, if I can bring it back up and share my screen. As you can see, the residential area to the west is located in a manner where it's about as far away from where the silo location is proposed. The area north of that residential area is the county park, and there's a significant amount of wooded area intervening between the residential area and the west side of the Hampel property. So honestly, I think they've done a good job in trying to mitigate any potential impact from the silos on the residential area itself.
Further discussion? Further discussion on the conditional use permit? A couple of questions based on type of any yearly basis through the federal EPA or
I'm sorry, Dean, I couldn't hear any of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm asking, yearly reporting or fill out to the federal EPA or to the respective departments. Somebody hear me?
Emily, can you turn on Eric Newman or Paul Lorge?
Somebody's got to open that.
Usually when it does that, it's internal.
I guess I would ask if either Paul or Eric are available to respond to that question.
I can answer that question, and your question with Paul would have the answer.
Paul still with us?
I think he's just...
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
To the best of my knowledge, we are not required to report or provide reporting to the EPA. We do file regular reports with the DNR relative to water quality.
Okay. Is that on a yearly basis or some sort of annual basis?
Quarterly basis.
Okay, so there is some oversight in regards to what you're emitting or how it's impacting your surrounding?
As it relates to water, yes.
Okay. All right, that was more of my question because of Ms. Foley and her concerns with pollution of water or the surrounding water tables. Any further discussion on the motion to approve the conditional use permit?
Would that be something we should be concerned about? Like, can any groundwater they're emitting get into our hose water or any water we're using in the neighborhood? Or maybe I put a call into the village, like the Germantown, their utility, but so.
All the years that Hampel has been in our industrial park, we haven't had any complaints or anybody contacting us about that polluting or somehow getting their products into our water supply that we're aware of. And with the DNR in that area and as close as the DNR watches Germantown because of our proximity to the Menominee River and because it touches the Great Lake, they are very strict in regards to monitoring and make sure that doesn't occur.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. And thank you for your questions and for participating in this public hearing process. I really appreciate that. Any further discussion on the motion to approve? No further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there no one opposed? No one carries. Next item under new business is Tyler Edwards, agent for Menard, property owner located at West 186 North 9754 Appleton Avenue, site plan review for proposed storage yard expansion, warehouse addition, building additions, and exterior remodeling. Give us more information.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all are aware, at last month's meeting, we presented a series of applications, including a rezoning application to remove 0.914 acres from our shoreline wetland district as a result of an approved wetland fill by the DNR, a conditional use permit to allow encroachment into a 25-foot wetland setback, and approval of 2 amendments to 2 existing conditional use permits that had been granted to Menards back when they first originally opened in the early 2000s. One to allow for the expansion of a retail facility greater than 45,000 square feet, and the second to allow for the expansion of an enclosed storage yard to 3.85 acres. All those items were recommended for approval by the Plan Commission, and the Village Board considered those as part of their agenda last week and approved those items. The one remaining item that the Plan Commission tabled concerned the shared driveway access on the southeast corner of the property, driveway that's shared with Stein Garden Center. There was concern raised with regard to exiting and entering traffic in a manner that was unsafe and a little bit uncontrolled, given the way that the existing parking lot is configured. At that time, we directed Menards to come back with a revised site plan for that driveway area with a potential solution to the issues that were raised. I'm bringing up on screen the existing shared driveway arrangement, as you can see. And this site plan was presented on May 11th. That was the subject of our concerns. In response, Menards submitted a revised site plan, and I've got on screen here June 8th site plan. As you can see on the upper left, I'll zero in on that. The red represents new features that are added, raised median areas and landscaping. In this case, our village engineer had the opportunity to review the proposed revisions by Menards and wrote his comments directly onto the face of that site plan, as you can see here in blue. And in response, Menards generated a subsequent revision to the plan that is shown here that addresses the concerns that were pointed out by the village engineer. As you can see, the 4 parking
We keep going.
stalls along the property line shared with Stein's, they have been removed and are no longer in the mix, so to speak. And the intersection area on site has been improved with shortening up of some of the raised median areas. And also, as you'll note here, as in the existing, there's an existing raised median right at the Menards property line to separate incoming and exiting traffic. On this latest revision to the plan, that median is proposed to be removed. So that's where we are this evening. We need to address this particular issue as well as take action on the other remaining items as part of the site plan. And I can go through those rather quickly. They include expanding the storage yard from 2.6 to 3.85 acres, expanding a warehouse building in the storage yard. There's currently 2 existing warehouse buildings. The proposal is to modify those 2 and connect them with an addition for a total of 51,736 square feet of warehouse building within the storage yard. Expand the retail building itself by enclosing approximately 10,400 square feet of existing garden center and open area at the back of the store for a heated ordered pickup area and an enclosed garden center storage. To remove some curbing and islands and reduce the overall parking stall count by originally a total of 70. Now I believe we're up to 74 parking stalls that would be the net loss as a result of the proposed changes. And also relocating the storage yard access or gate area from currently on the west side of the building to the east side of the building to accommodate that additional pickup area and more storage within the yard itself as shown here. This is the parking area on the east side of the store that would be eliminated and converted into the new location for the yard entrance and gate enclosure and expanded storage. The elevations that are included, the landscaping wall, we discussed and decided to have the 14-foot high wood privacy option installed versus the open metal railing option, along with the landscaping as shown on the plan. And the plan, the staff recommendation was to approve the site development and building plan subject to 6 conditions that were slightly modified to reflect the new revision to the site plan addressing the driveway entrance area. So with that, I would open it up for discussion and questions. We do have Tyler Edwards here online with Menards to respond to any questions, or if Tyler, you have anything you want to add, please let us know so we can recognize you. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the site development and building plans for the proposed storage yard as presented with the modifications that were submitted tonight.
Sure.
Because it's all part of the site plan. So are you going to pick it apart, or are you going to take it as it's presented?
Say that again, you broke up.
All right, you've got, the site plan review is for, as stated in our agenda, the proposed storage yard expansion, the warehouse addition, the building additions, and the exterior remodeling. Is that what your motion includes?
Yeah, I'm including it all.
Okay,
Yep.
be clear.
Yeah.
Did we have a second?
I did, second it, and that's the way I thought it was going. I would include it.
Thank you, Mr. Shedid. Any discussion on that motion to approve?
Yeah, the one comment that I have is on the village engineer's markups, the lowest note, it's just off the bottom of the screen there. He asked for the driveway to be kind of painted in there, which I think that is, and it's not on the final proposal. I think that is an important part that should be included.
All right, is that an amendment?
I will make that an amendment, number 7, that the driveway striping be included as, in reference to the village engineer's comment.
Okay, motion to amend, do I have a second?
Yes, I will second that.
Motion made and seconded to amend the motion to include the striping as was recommended by the village. Any discussion on that motion to amend?
Yeah, I have a question. Can you hear me? I'm wondering, since this latest proposal shows a removal of that island right at the property line, if there needs to be some sort of striping added as a replacement to that? I know there was concern about trucks being able to turn and get in and out, which makes sense to remove that island to accommodate that. But now there'll be nothing there, it'll just be asphalt, where both incoming and outbound cars, trucks, et cetera, will have to commingle in that area and competing for that space, and maybe at a minimum some striping could be added to effectively, replace that median. I don't know what you feel about that, David.
I personally think that would aid in keeping the cars in the right spot. So I will make a motion to make an amendment, number 8, to add that striping in as well.
Is that an amendment to your first motion, or is that an amendment to the amendment?
That's a second amendment. So we're going to deal with them second. We got to act on the first amendment first.
Correct. Okay, yeah, let's go through the first amendment unless you're gonna amend the amendment.
Now, take it separately.
Okay, then back to the motion to amend, which is to add the striping as was mentioned by comments made by the engineer at the bottom of the proposed drawing. Any further discussion on that motion to amend? No further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Is that one opposed or two opposed?
On first, sorry, and so is one.
Okay. And one opposed. Motion carries. Back to motion and further discussion.
Yeah, I'll make a amendment to add striping to replace the being that it's being revoked.
Motion made to amend. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion on motion to amend. Discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? One opposed. Motion carries. The motion as amended. Further discussion?
I guess I have a question.
Vanillas?
Is Mr. Edwards available? Got a question regarding this whole traffic situation. Couple of things. Has Stein been involved in any of these discussions on traffic movements, things like that? And the second question is, has there been any sort of traffic engineer brought on board to try to figure out the geometry and things? This is not an easy problem to solve, and I feel like I don't feel qualified to make any sort of decisions like this. So I just wanted to know if anybody, if Menards is retaining any sort of professional traffic engineering consultation on this problem.
Tyler from Menards here. We have not had discussion, I should say, can everyone hear me? Was I unmuted properly?
Yes.
Okay, we haven't talked to Steins, we have an easement with them, and the expansion isn't changing the flow or the volume of traffic per store overall. I think it changes the nature of the easement, so we haven't really been talking to them about this. As far as the traffic engineer, no traffic engineer has been hired. We use our in-house design professionals to design this, and then of course we coordinated with the city engineer to make the suggested changes.
It seems to me that with the turning radiuses and striping patterns and things like that, it seems like, again, this is not something that I feel comfortable trying to design myself. So, I don't know. I think this needs some more
attention to it, potentially.
I would throw out there, when Menards first presented us with the revised plan, we forwarded to our consulting village engineer on behalf of our Public Works Department and requested that they take a look at the information and work with their staff, and if they felt that it needed further addressing by a traffic engineer to let us know that, and we would proceed from there. And in response, we got the comments that we received. So I don't exactly know how best to take that, other than it seemed that they felt qualified to provide some feedback on the proposal. One solution may very well be that as a condition of this approval, that we require Menards to monitor the situation. And if this fix doesn't work, then come back with something different. I know that's probably not the most efficient approach, but it is an option that we can pursue at this point in time.
Yes, I appreciate that. I guess I don't feel the need to amend the existing motion to add that. I think market conditions are going to kind of dictate what happens out here. If things continue, or if things are still policy, I think we're going to hear about it one way or the other, and something's going to have to be done. So I think I'm fine with leaving it without having to amend the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Millis. Any further discussion? No further discussion? Any comments that I would make is I would agree with Commissioner Nelson that the conditions that are presented, if they are not workable solution, we will definitely hear about it. I would be curious to know if there's any known accidents that have occurred over, I don't know, call it 3 years or 5 years, and if we would start to see any additional accidents. And I know that if they would occur, it would be on private property, so it's not always part of a police report. But I don't know if Mr. Edwards has knowledge of any car accidents or traffic accidents that may have happened within this area of your parking lot.
Not aware of any, but again, I am at the corporate office, not at that store every day. So without talking to someone at the store, I can't say without 100% certainty, but I know we wouldn't have proceeded if there was a problem there.
Your knowledge being that you're at a corporate level, do you know of or have any experience with other stores that have a similar layout?
I'd have to go through the map or check. With 325 stores, there's a lot of different layouts.
So now you're right.
Dean, we're not able to hear you at this point. Could you hold up a second? I apologize for the delay. Apologize for the delay. We seem to have a machine that's giving us some trouble. Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, do we need to go back to the vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Motion and amended. Approve the site plan. Any further discussion? There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please state.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? None opposed? Motion carries.
I'm sorry, excuse me, my internet just blinked out for a few minutes, I just got back online.
Okay, are you for or against it, Mr. Nellens?
I'll vote against.
Okay, so we have one opposed.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes, one opposed. Thank you, Mr. Edwards, for your input and for coming on to this Plan Commission meeting. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item under new business is item B from Hannah Degner, property owners of West 146, North 109 Heritage Parkway, is permit to develop. Well, Mr. Redsmont, or?
Yes. I've got this one. Hannah and Kurt Degner are seeking permission of a zoning permit to install a 6-foot-high privacy fence in a front yard at their property at the intersection of Heritage Parkway and Lincoln Drive. The zoning for the property is RS5 single family, as is the surrounding properties, RS4 to the north and RS5 to the south, east, and west. The 6-foot-high fence is a wooden fence, a dog-eared type cedar fence. Again, that would be constructed in what amounts to a front yard in the residential zoning district on a corner lot. There are 2 street yards, one each for each of the abutting streets, and under our fence regulations, the fence in the street yard cannot be higher than 4 feet without Plan Commission review and approval. Here's an aerial view of the site that shows the proposed fence location around the property. Again, the survey showing the same fence location. The Degners indicate that there are no homeowner association restrictions that have to be dealt with, and in light of the proposal, the staff recommendation is to recommend approval of the proposed 6-foot-high fence in the street yard, again, which is that small portion shown adjacent or nearest to Lincoln Drive, abutting the property. And I believe we have Hannah Degner available this evening. If she has any questions or comments, please let us know so we can bring you up. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed installation of 6-foot fence as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion. I see that Ms. Degner just left the meeting, and hopefully she'll log back in. I do have a question.
I'm here. I was logged in twice because I haven't been to work on my computer.
Very good. Question is, have you talked to your neighbors about your fence?
Yes, we've spoken to all our neighbors. They're all in, they're happy about it.
Okay. Good.
I have a question.
Trustee Paul?
Director Retzlaff, if the base of that fence was pushed back, looks like to be flush with the side of the building, this wouldn't be an issue, would it? Rear yard?
That's correct. The street yard is defined by the nearest point of the structure parallel to the right-of-way of the abutting road. So yes, if that small section were pulled back, it would be unnecessary. So it is just a small portion of the fence that's technically in the street yard, and I believe the only reason for extending it into the street yard is to jog around some landscape feature there. Maybe Ms. Degner can comment on what that is. I think I see Ms. Degner trying to speak, but I can't hear anything on my end here.
Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
And there's a gas meter issue right in the corner as well.
Okay?
Okay.
Motion, correct? In a second? Yes?
Yes.
I'll second if no one else did.
What I did before.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Any further discussion? If there is none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? None opposed, so motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Degner, for logging on and helping us through this and answering our questions.
Awesome, thank you guys, I appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thank you, you too. Next item under new business is item E, Keller Inc., agent for NSC Limited Partnership, property owner and North Shore Environmental Construction at North 117 West 18493 Fulton Drive, a site plan review for a 15,950 square foot addition and site improvements. Before us tonight for action. To give us some more information and overview on this new business item E, I'll turn the meeting over to our associate planner, Emily Zan. Emily.
Thank you. Keller, on behalf of North Shore Environmental, is seeking to do an addition on the east side of their existing building. It's a 15,950 square foot expansion, and it's located on an existing 2.6 acre parcel on the south side of Fulton Drive in the Germantown Industrial Park. This property is located in the M1 Limited Industrial Zoning District. North Shore Environmental provides non-hazardous and hazardous waste cleanup, waste management services, transportation, disposal, industrial cleaning, and emergency spill response for a number of different entities. The existing 9,000 square foot facility was constructed in 1993. It includes office and conference space, restrooms, break rooms, and interior storage and warehouse space. North Shore Environmental does not bring the hazardous waste back to the subject property for storage and does not clean any of their equipment on site. North Shore rents yard space at Shoreline of Wisconsin, which is just south of County Line Road, for the storage of roll-off boxes, portable tanks, and equipment. Transport vehicles are decontaminated at the site of generation, at disposal facilities, or outside cleaning facilities. So the 15,950 square foot building addition is to the east side of the existing building, which will include 3,000 square feet of office, shop, break room, and locker rooms and restrooms, and 12,950 square feet of warehouse and storage. The addition will include 24-foot to 26-foot high precast and custom concrete exterior panels painted to match the existing building. There will be shadow line bump outs and glazed aluminum windows. The flat roof with parapet wall component will be included to shield the roof mounted mechanicals. They are proposing to widen the east driveway to serve the 4 proposed overhead doors on the north elevation. They're also adding an east asphalt drive on the east side of the proposed addition, and expansion of the fenced storage area to the east as well. Access will be provided to the site from Fulton Drive via the existing driveway on the west side of the property. There are 24 employee parking stalls, and they will continue to be located on the west side of the existing building and further south onto the west edge of the fenced storage area. Company equipment will then travel south into the fenced area, continuing south to the fenced area, and then east to the proposed addition. The aligned overhead doors with the on the north side of the building will allow trucks and equipment to pull forward onto Fulton Drive, eliminating the need for equipment and trucks to back out onto the street. There'll be 6 additional overhead doors on the south elevation and 4 on the north. Staff does recommend additional facade detail be added to the east elevation of the proposed addition, which can be seen on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Details from the north elevation could be carried over to the east, including panels of the darker color. This has been included as a condition of approval. So this is the landscape plan. Between the proposed building expansion, additional asphalt, and the existing building and paved areas, impervious surfaces will increase by approximately 8,200 square feet. This is a total impervious surface of about 70.6% of the site, and that meets the 80% maximum permitted. So there's about 30% of the property is being left as open or green space. Landscaping is proposed along a portion of the north and along the east side of the building addition. Additional landscaping is proposed near the west driveway along the east property line, and 3 additional deciduous trees are proposed to be planted along Fulton Drive. Exterior lighting includes LED cutoff wall-mounted fixtures at a height of 18 feet on the north, south, and east elevations. Staff is also recommending adding 2 additional street trees along the north side of the bioretention basin south of Fulton Drive right-of-way to further buffer the improvements from the road. So some additional comments. Planning staff indicated that a new driveway permit for the proposed driveway, which will exceed the 45-foot maximum width, will be required. A roof plan showing all proposed roof-mounted mechanicals shall be submitted prior to the issuance of a building permit. Inspection services require state-approved plans and a $20,000 occupancy bond. And for Public Works, the items identified in a memo dated June 2nd will need to be addressed prior to the issuance of a building permit. So staff does recommend approval of this application, the site development and building plans for North Shore Environmental for a 15,950 square foot expansion to the existing office warehouse building located on Fulton Drive in the Germantown Industrial Park, subject to 10 conditions. And we can go through those if you have any questions.
Questions, comments, motions?
I make a motion to approve the site development and building plans for North Shore Environmental's 15,950 square foot addition with the 10 conditions as proposed.
Motion made, do I hear a second?
Second?
Motion made and seconded, discussion. No discussion? The only thing that I would add is, as I said many times, there's a lot of places where companies can go to grow when they've run out of space or are looking to enhance their business. I always appreciate when they wish to stay in Germantown and grow their property and their business within Germantown's borders. So thank you very much, North Shore Environmental, for choosing to stay here and for bringing this addition to this part of our village. Further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there any opposed? Not opposed, the motion carries. Next item under new business is item F, Lacrosse Sign Group, agent for KT Real Estate Holdings LLC, property owner of Quick Trip Inc., located at West 188 North 10963 Maple Road, a sign review for action.
I make a motion to approve the signs presented.
Maybe, do I hear a second?
I don't know if I can do it the same way, but I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion to approve the sign? I'd like to see it.
Present added.
Okay.
Yeah, the three components, it's basically some maintenance and upgrades to the existing monument sign. On the far right, they're replacing the Quick Trip sign face with opaque material that would only glow at night. In the middle, they're replacing or upgrading the existing digital reader, not a reader board, but the number, the fuel price section. And then on the far left, they're replacing what's an existing manual car wash sign with a smaller electronic message center. And all three components meet the sign regulations. The staff recommendation is to approve with 4 conditions.
Steve Baum, thank you. Wasn't that, I thought, perhaps you could put it wide, you know, for they may want to see it.
That's fine.
Any further discussion on the motion to approve? No further discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Last item of business is Signorama, agent for RT LLC, company owners of Dial National West 206, West 12865, 50 Court, sign review for action.
I'm not gonna say anything this time.
Give us some more background information. I'll turn the meeting over to our associate planner, Emily Zan. Emily.
Thank you. So Signorama, the agent for Dielectric Manufacturing, is requesting approval of 1 wall sign and 1 ground sign for Dielectric, which is located on Gateway Court and the intersection of Gateway Court and Holy Hill Road. This property is zoned M1 Industrial. The proposed wall sign is 57 square feet. It's an LED internally illuminated channel letter sign with Lexan faces and dark red and dark blue vinyl. And they're attached to the building via raceway mounts. The sign will be placed on the south elevation of the building, and you can see the southeast corner of the building there. The proposed ground sign is 45 square feet per side, or 90 square feet total. It's double-sided, internally illuminated aluminum cabinet. The sign cabinet will be placed on top of a tall brick-layered base with concrete pad, and will be a total of 7 feet and 7 inches in height. Landscaping is required for the base of the sign and must meet the required 3-foot minimum on all sides of the base of the sign. The white background on the sign is opaque, and only the letters will be illuminated at night. Both signs will include solar eyes that will turn off the sign lighting during daylight hours and turn on the lighting during nighttime hours. So staff does recommend approval with 2 conditions, including a landscaping plan and electrical permits being obtained.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed wall and ground signs for dielectric manufacturing as proposed with the 2 conditions.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion to approve? Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Opposed, motion carries. It takes care of all items on tonight's agenda, under new business, and all items on tonight's agenda. Does anyone have any announcements they'd like to make? Have none? So with that, then, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you all for participating, and thank you all for watching. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Out.